Imagine walking through an airport after a major performance, trying to get from one place to another, when suddenly someone recognizes you. A few seconds later, more people notice. Phones come out, people start gathering, and what began as one simple request for a picture could potentially turn into a much bigger situation. That is apparently what happened in a recent discussion involving SB19. According to the account circulating online, the group was approached for a photo at an airport but declined. And instead of the moment simply ending there, a remark was allegedly made that immediately caught people's attention. Hindi pa na Kayo Sikat, hindi na Kayo nagpapapicture? In English, that roughly translates to, "You're not even that famous yet, and you're already refusing to take pictures?" And that one alleged statement has opened up a much bigger conversation about fame, boundaries, respect, and what fans should realistically expect from artists when they encounter them outside a performance. Because here's where this story gets interesting. For some people, saying no to a photo can easily be interpreted as arrogance. After all, fans are the reason artists become successful. Fans buy the music, attend concerts, stream performances, support their careers, and help spread their names around the world. So when an artist says no to a picture, some people may naturally wonder, why not? It would only take a few seconds. But there's another side that is very important. An airport is not a concert venue. When SB19 are on a stage, everything is controlled. There are security personnel. There are barriers. There is a designated performance area. There are people whose job is to manage the crowd. An airport is completely different. People are moving in different directions. There are passengers carrying luggage. There are employees working. Security procedures are happening. And if a recognizable group suddenly stops to take pictures, one person can quickly become several people. Several people can become a crowd. And a crowd can become difficult to control very quickly. That is why the argument that an artist's refusal automatically means they are disrespectful doesn't necessarily tell the whole story. In fact, the screenshots you shared make that exact point. The discussion emphasizes that an artist refusing a photo is not automatically about attitude. Sometimes it can simply be about safety, timing, privacy, exhaustion, or the need to keep moving. And this is particularly relevant when we're talking about SB19. They aren't simply 5 ordinary travelers walking through an airport unnoticed. They are one of the most recognizable Filipino groups internationally, and their popularity has continued to put them in situations where fans can recognize them almost anywhere. We've seen how quickly SB19 related moments can spread online. A small encounter can become a social media discussion within hours.
While we are waiting sa luggages, may mga kilala, like some people, very few, I think that was one, I think, live. Tapos, 2 is workers here. They're all Filipinos. Siyempre, as manager, yung manager, lumapit siya bigla, baka nagkakagulo or ano man, diba?
So imagine what happens when 5 members are walking through an airport and somebody recognizes them. One person asks for a picture. Another person notices. Then another. Suddenly, people are reaching for their phones. And before you know it, the group may have dozens of people surrounding them. That's why the question isn't simply, why didn't they take the picture? The bigger question is, what would have happened if they had stopped? Would the interaction have remained calm? Would more people have gathered? Could airport personnel have controlled the situation? And most importantly, would SB19 have been able to leave safely and comfortably afterward? Those are questions that are easy to overlook when we're watching the situation from a phone screen. And then there's another part of this story that makes the discussion even more uncomfortable. The later conversation shown in the screenshots appears to involve comments about people working at the airport and Filipino personnel allegedly being involved in the interaction. There is also a remark describing the situation as disrespectful. But this is exactly where we should slow down, because online discussions can quickly transform an incomplete encounter into a definitive story. We don't necessarily know everything that happened before the camera started recording. We don't know what was said privately. We don't know how many people were present. We don't know whether SB19 had security with them at that exact moment. And we certainly shouldn't treat every statement circulating online as an independently confirmed fact. What we can discuss is the broader issue. Artists are allowed to have boundaries. Being famous doesn't mean you automatically lose the right to say no. And being a fan doesn't mean you're entitled to a photograph every time you recognize someone. That doesn't make the fan bad. And it doesn't automatically make the artist rude. Sometimes the timing simply isn't right. Think about it from the other direction. Imagine you're exhausted after traveling. Maybe you've just finished a demanding schedule. You're trying to get somewhere on time. Then suddenly you're surrounded by people asking for pictures. Even if you genuinely appreciate those people, you might not have the energy or freedom to stop. And saying no doesn't erase the appreciation. In fact, respecting a person's no can be one of the clearest demonstrations of genuine support. This is especially important for a group like SB19 because their success means their visibility has increased dramatically. The bigger they become, the more often moments like this are likely to happen. And that means both sides have something to learn. Artists need appropriate security and systems around them when necessary. Fans need to understand boundaries. And everyone involved needs to recognize that an airport isn't necessarily the right place for an uncontrolled meet and greet. The alleged remark, "Hindi pa na Kayo Sikat," is also interesting because it touches on something deeper. Why should an artist have to reach a certain level of fame before they're allowed to say no? Whether an artist is a superstar or just beginning their career, they're still a person. Their popularity should not determine whether their personal boundaries deserve respect. And ironically, the fact that someone recognized SB19 at all demonstrates exactly why the situation could become complicated. They may be too recognizable to assume that stopping for one person will remain a private interaction. That first photo request could open the door to 10 more. And suddenly, what looked like a harmless request could become a crowd management issue. So when this story is discussed online, perhaps the better question isn't, why did SB19 refuse? Perhaps it's this, can we support our favorite artists while still respecting their boundaries? Because real support isn't only about cheering when they're on stage. It's also about understanding when they're off stage. And if SB19 genuinely declined the photo in this situation, that alone doesn't give us enough information to label them arrogant or disrespectful. There may have been circumstances that we simply couldn't see. At the same time, if someone really did make the alleged remark about them not being famous enough, that raises a different question about how quickly success can change people's expectations of artists. Because fame should never mean an artist has to surrender every private moment. SB19 have spent years working to reach the level of recognition they have today. But with greater recognition comes another challenge. Learning how to navigate a world where even a few seconds in an airport can become a public conversation. And perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from this entire situation. A photo may take only 5 seconds, but the circumstances surrounding those 5 seconds can be much more complicated. So before judging SB19 based on one airport encounter, it's worth remembering that we may only be seeing a tiny piece of the story. And sometimes, respecting the people we admire means accepting one simple answer. No. Because appreciation should never require entitlement. And if SB19 really did choose not to stop that day, perhaps the most respectful response isn't anger. Perhaps it's simply giving them the space to keep walking.